Hello everyone, we are Group 4 and we are making a documentary on mass customization. I'm Varun, he's Andrew, and we are going to discuss mass customization in general. So Andrew, what do you feel about mass customization?
So in general, I think mass customization is a process or a business strategy that a lot of companies can implement, and they do this to ideally individually customize a product for a customer based on what the needs of the customer are. And ideally they're doing this at a low cost of mass production, but also still having large volumes.
So Andrew, I've been studying mass customization since past 5 weeks and I've done some research on it. And I see there are like 5 different types of mass customization. Would you like to throw some light on it?
Sure. So you're right, there are five different classifications of mass customization. The first one is make to stock. And this is something where the technology itself of the product is what is able to customize it, so the customer can take what they need and customize it. A good example of this is an office chair. The second is assemble to stock, or assemble to order, sorry. And with that, there's a bunch of components that the manufacturer already has pre-made that they just wait for the order from the customer and they put it together once the order is there. And an example of this is a laptop that you might order. The third is make to order, and this is where there's a bunch of raw materials and the manufacturer will bring in all the raw materials and make a finalized product based off the customer's needs. And a good example of this would be a meal at a restaurant. The fourth one is engineer to order, and this is where there's a design that the customer brings to the manufacturer and the manufacturer makes it specific to that design. A good example of this would be a specialty cake from a bakery. And the last one is develop to order, and this is where there's a lot more research and development involved because the product isn't a very common product and they need to understand what it's going to be used for. So a good example of this would be the space shuttle.
So we have pretty much entered into the field of mass customization. Let's just get the process started. What do you think is the main part or the key requirement for a mass customization process?
So I definitely think that one of the biggest components to mass customization or the success of mass customization is that you need to have an agile system. And what this means is that agility is the ability for either the products, the process, or even the product system to perform at its intended functions in an environment that is rapidly changing. And I mean, there are 3 different drivers for agility. It's called anytime, any space, and any function. And if you can resolve these 3 drivers, then really you can kind of call your product or your process an agile product or process. And even within the products, depending on the classification of your mass customization, it's going to change what is necessary to be agile. So for example, for make to stock, what's agile is your product. Whereas in develop to order, it's going to be your R&D process, the research and development. That's really what needs to be agile. You need to kind of move quickly.
Now, since we are into agility, I know agility mainly consists of having product platforms. So what are these product platforms exactly and how do they benefit mass customization in general?
Sure. So product platforms are high-level plans that are used for a line of products that would share a similar component or a lot of similar parts. When looking at product platforms, the 2 main things or characteristics that I can think about are differentiating attributes and chunks. Differentiating attributes are the characteristics of the product that a customer really thinks is important and would want to customize or change to their needs. Whereas chunks are the major elements of the product that are similar between a bunch of products within a product line that you can interchange. An example of this would be in a line of similar cars, the chunk could be considered like the engine. Some benefits with product platforms include reduced costs due to the large volumes, better service, increased efficiency because of the common processes used throughout all the products, and also a decrease in the risk involved because you're leveraging a lot of the products off of one another.
So suppose I start a company tomorrow and I think that I want to manufacture some mass customized products. What do you think should be my steps in actually going through the process of mass customization?
So mass customization is definitely not the same for each company. So you need to come up with a plan in order to do this, and really something that I've learned through studying mass customization is that your company kind of needs to be all in. It can't just be thinking about, oh, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. It needs to be all in on the change, but they also need to look at how they're going to get there. It's not a process that can just occur overnight. It's something that's going to take a long time. So be prepared for that. And